So, hello and welcome to my next chess video. This time I show you the game between GreKo 8.2 with white versus Stockfish 010518, so the development version from the 1st of May 2018, and Stockfish here is black. I let them play without opening book or table bases as always, and I gave them this position you see here on the left. And the first move calculated by GreKo 8.2 was the move bishop f4. This is of course a Caro-Kann position, which arises after the moves e4, c6, d4, d5, and there are games and analysis on my channel where the move e5 was played here, which is probably the best move against the Caro-Kann, but here I have let them play the move knight c3, which is an alternative to e5, and here pawn takes e5, knight takes e5, bishop f4, knight g3 attacking the bishop goes back to g7, and now h4 trying to trap the bishop, h6 to give the bishop some additional squares, knight f3, knight bd7, and h4, bishop back to h7, and now you shouldn't let this bishop remain there on this diagonal, so bishop d3. Now the exchange of bishops and e6. Here we had the move bishop f4, and after bishop f4 the queen gave this check, and now the bishop went back to attack the queen. So let's see what Stockfish is doing now. Bishop b4 is the move Stockfish is trying to do here, so that after pawn takes, the b pawn is under attack, so as the king. So this is not possible, so castling queenside is also not possible here, because the a pawn would hang, but then the bishop hangs. So yeah, the castles, but then you can take there and take on h2, so this is not on. Probably you could go rook d1, which is nice move, and after takes, well, still the a pawn is under threat, so I'm not sure. Probably c3 should be played here instead of all that. c3 just attacking the bishop goes to d3, and now probably castling kingside. I'm not sure, because then this pawn would hang in knight f3. You'd have a beautiful square here on f4. The h-pawn is under threat, and yeah, how to defend the h-pawn here? So probably not castling queenside. Probably knight e4 then to attack the bishop. Bishop maybe goes all the way back, so that the queen can use c7. And after castles, you could probably go queen c7, try this battery. Although currently the knight is still defending this square here, but you could maybe try and go g4, g5, g5, g4. I'm not sure what is the best move here in that position. Knight f3 maybe to... No, knight f3 then captures. Yeah, knight f3 is possible. Knight f6, I mean. But first of all, it's white's move. So what is white actually doing here? Let's put a rook on the open e-file, half open e-file, so knight d7 is probably better. So that after knight g3, yeah, we have this knight e4 immediately by GreKo. Okay, not c3. Knight e4. So after takes, you could take with a knight, and then what? Then knight f6. Or knight f6 even immediately, I'm not sure. Yeah, this position should be around even. Knight e4 here. And now knight f6 immediately, attacking the defender of the bishop. So that after knight takes you have this in between check, and you can... Yeah, after knight takes... Oh, this comes with check, so knight takes. Yeah, but the knight here on f3 is also covering the bishop. So yeah, you could castle here. No, you can't. You can't, because the h-pawn would hang. h6 is also not so great. I would still go c3 here in that position. And after bishop d3, yeah, kept going here is not on. Yeah, this h pawn is not sure. Not sure. Probably queen c4 to be able to castle queenside, but after b4, well, this pawn hangs, so b4, b5 is not on here. So yeah, black could also castle queenside, and after castling queenside from white, yeah, b4 is not on. The h pawn is now defended. So oh, knight here check. What the hell is this? Oh, because the bishop can't take, because the queen would be en prise. This is interesting. This is interesting. Knight e3 check. Going after the b pawn maybe. Is white here already better? I would be afraid of that move. King e7, knight takes b7, bishop takes d2, knight takes d2, and queen b4. Yeah, you win back the b pawn, okay. So Stockfish gives this as even. But king e7. Okay, it connects rooks, and this pawn chain here is probably safe enough, but I'm not sure. Knight takes here. Bishop takes. Of course, you could also play queen takes, but then after queen here, okay, the knight can come to c4, to c5. But you have to give back the pawn anyway. So why not just knight takes? No, not queen takes, of course, but rather queen b5. Yeah, queen b5 or queen b3. It doesn't really matter. Or queen b4. Queen b4. Attacking the b pawn and the knight. So knight here, you're taking here, rook there, taking there, and then rook to b7. I'm not sure if you should allow this, so you should probably eliminate this knight and that pawn. But then knight c4 or castling queenside is on now, and now when the knight moves, let's say, then you have threat there. So probably rook here, attacking the queen. Queen c4, offering a queen trade. Okay, you could capture on c2, but losing c7 and letting the queen in that way is probably terrible. So either you have to capture it, or you play queen b3. Queen b3 is probably more nice. And what is white doing here? c3 to eliminate the squares for the knight and still not allow queen takes f2. So then rook here threatening there. b3 or queen c2? b3 or queen c2, that's the question. b3 or queen c3, that's the question, I mean. So let's try queen c3. Just centralizing next move. Okay, h4. a5, sorry. And rook there, just centralizing. Okay, the king can always hide here on f8 and g8. Just takes two moves. So that's fair enough. So then h4. Well, a4. a3 is not really a threat because the queen is also on that square with check. You could play this check anyway at all times. So I haven't factored that in. Queen here threatening the check there. Well, it's not a real threat because of c5. Okay, so we can continue. Yeah, not just c5. And what is the queen actually doing here? Okay, the knight can come there. Also defending b2. Then the queen is able to move. The knight can also jump. No, can't jump to b3, but this pawn is now on the threat. So let's try queen here. No. You can just capture it. So that's why you cannot play a4 because of this check. No. Check, you capture, and then you're mated. So you could probably go do that. So white should go there, probably. Attacking the queen. Now let's say the queen moves there. Takes. takes, but black is also not worse here. White is also not worse here, I cannot believe that. And after knight here, for example, taking the pawn, another knight moves back, attacking the pawn, and after this pawn would be lost. So you cannot push, you have to defend it immediately. But how? Is this pawn already dead? Or can you try b2, b3? Of course you cannot capture another pawn, because capturing here, well, it could also be possible. No, it can't, because the king can't use the d-file, and this pawn is queening next move. So b3, you'd have to capture it. After captures, okay, you have a passed pawn here, but yeah, you cannot really hold on to the extra pawn. No. But white could be better there. Yeah, white could be better there. Let's see, rook there, rook takes, knight here. I'm not sure, probably it's just a draw, this line. But okay, b3 is an option here for black, so this could be possible, this line. Probably there are much better moves in that position, but let's see. So knight c4. Yeah, now queen b4. Queen b3. Oh, queen b3 is the move there. Queen b4, queen b3. That's also an option. Queen b3 is what Stockfish gives. Queen b3. Now you shouldn't probably capture. Should capture there on d4. This is how you get back the pawn. That's why queen b5 or queen b6 is not on. Yeah, queen b6 probably. It's also attacking the knight and adds some pressure to the pawn. So either queen b6 or queen b4, but queen b5 doesn't win back the pawn. And now this knight is in severe trouble. The rook is coming to the b file, the other rook is coming to the d file. So probably castling here to have some discoveries with the knight. And yeah, probably queen here. Offer queen trade now. After takes, the a pawn is on the threat, and if you defend it, then rook there is just winning the knight. So yeah, here 2, 4, 6 versus 6, but white would win a pawn there. Black could save the knight though. The knight here, let's say rook there, knight there, you have to do something. And now you capture here. 2, 4, 6 versus 5. But white has compensation for it. For example, knight here. No, knight here doesn't work because the knight on d7 is protecting that square. So knight d6. Knight d6. What's the point here? Why isn't this just better for black? How can you save the pawn here? Okay, you're not allowed to exchange queens here. Okay, currently the queen is defending the knight. So knight here probably. Now queen takes, rook there, knight here. And yeah, it should be around even. Although white's pieces are more active. So yeah, but this endgame is, yeah, it's around even, I would say. So queen a3. Oh, pinning the queen that way. This is also an option. Queen b3 or queen a3. Queen a3, trying to hold on to the pawn via pinning the queen to the king. Let's see what Stockfish is saying to that. Stockfish thinks it's a inferior move to the other one, to queen b3 most probably. Queen a3, queen takes, b takes. This is a line. Would also capture this, mess up white's pawn structure. Okay, and now the knight can use c2, but c5, but okay, let's go rook to the open file, attacking the knight. There is no other way. You could try knight a5 maybe to go after that pawn, but then rook c8, just defending the pawn, and then I'm not sure. Knight a5 also looks interesting. Attacking the pawn, rook here, rook there, rook takes, knight takes. Now c5 maybe. C3 is not on because takes, rook there, check, winning the rook. So this is not on. So c5. Yeah, if you want to keep the pawn, you should capture it. Then rook takes, knight b3. Yeah, but then you lose that pawn. There is still this threat and that threat, so c5, what to do? Ignoring it? Castling? Leaving this pawn en prise? I would go knight c5. After seeing this, knight c5 is just more interesting. Capturing. And now the problem is you're up a pawn as white, but it's a doubled isolated c pawn and a doubled isolated a pawn. So it's not like the best pawn you can get. Rook here, probably attacking on b2, on c2. Because rook b5 doesn't do so much, because knight b3 just defends the pawn. Okay, you can't use the a5 square then, because if the rook stands here, then the knight will come here to this b3 square, defending the pawn and defending the a5 square, where the rook would love to go to attack a3, but it's not possible because of knight b3. So that's why I would play rook b2. Also, the rook on b2 is much more active. So let's say rook b1 is also an option. Yeah, because this is, I think it's too much. Also that position. How to defend the c pawn? You could push it. Yeah, let's play c4. Also deny this square for the knight. But now rook there, adding some pressure to the knight. Now the knight has to move. Can't use that square. Could use this b3 square, trapping the rook kind of. But it's not very pleasant. All that's okay. Here you kind of also defend this pawn here, still with the knight. But this pawn is now under attack twice. So castling, defending it. And now knight b3, and you at least get that pawn. And you also have that check. So the activity of the pieces guarantees black to win back the pawn. So that's why probably in that position here rook b1 was chosen. Just defending the knight. Yeah, okay, you can't use the c5 square. Okay, the rook is also defended. So c5... c5 still. Let's say knight takes. Yeah, pawn takes I'm not sure about. Yeah, pawn takes. I would go pawn takes because of the knight takes. Rook takes, check, knight takes, pawn takes, rook c8, and you still get back the pawn. So pawn takes c5. And now what? Why c5? Knight takes c5? No, it's not working. It's just not working. And yeah, okay, you could go here, probably. Then this knight could go there. Yeah, probably this is not good, Because takes, knight takes, and now either rook takes attacking c2, and now the knight would also be attacked. But rook takes seems better, because now this square is covered, that square is covered, so the knight can only use b2. But after b2, this is forking the knights. So okay, this is covered. That one is not possible because of rook here to b5. This square is covered from the rook, this square is covered from the knight, and this square is covered from the pawn, so the knight is dead. So knight here also doesn't work. So yeah, rook c8 was the idea. Knight b3 is not on because it would block the defense of the knight. Knight e4 is also not on, and knight takes, rook takes, no threat, so probably just castles. And after knight takes, rook takes, probably rook takes, and rook here. But then rook there, check, and after this, okay, there is no knight check, and if you take there, okay, you have this passed a pawn, but you would be down a pawn after all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus 4, but no, 4 versus 5 pawns. So white would be no. You would lose the knight. You'd have to do something with the knight. Knight f3 looks logical. Knight f3 taking there, a4. Yeah, but the king in the endgame is very active. Although black has this passed pawn here. Aha, don't take the c pawn, going after the knight. Going after, so the knight has to go to a4 now. This is the idea. But this would also be possible, this line with castles, knight takes, rook takes. But I think it would just be a draw there. Okay, white has the extra a pawn. Not extra, but the passed a pawn, but black's king activity would compensate for this, and the rook is also behind the pawn, so it's quite playable. But we have a different move by Stockfish. 010518. We have here not knight takes or something. We have not castles. We have rook b3. So what does this change? Knight takes? Yeah, okay, well, anyway. Rook there, attacking the knight. The knight has only one... What the hell? Oh! If you take, then you can fork. So, c4. If you take here, and then you could either fork immediately or captures, and then fork. So this would win back the piece, and this square is covered from the knight, the b1 square. So captures. Yeah, we'll go king captures. And now what? 6 versus 5, but white is losing a pawn here. So yeah, it's possible. It's possible, but c4 is nice move. Just there is this fact of the fork, so it's possible. Very interesting hero composition. I'll smoke a cigarette now while watching this game. Okay, Stockfish is going in for this with a different move though. Stockfish didn't capture with that rook, but captures with the b rook. So, but it doesn't really matter. This will be the line most probably. Yeah, now you have to save the rook. Going there is the best. Takes, king takes. And now what? Knight b3. You have to save the a pawn after all that. So probably c4 takes. Knight here defending the a pawn. But what to do after? What to do about this pawn here? Also rook c2. I think Stockfish is already better there. Yeah, Stockfish also thinks that. Yeah, I think this is winning for black already. This endgame is quite interesting. Rook takes, rook takes. I think Stockfish wins a pawn there. And then he will grind this to a win. I'm sure, because Stockfish up a pawn. Not much compensation for white. Yeah. So this is how you play the opening of the Caro-Kann. But I have to see the lines with c3 before he in that position there. Before, instead of bishop d2, there is this c3 idea. There is this c3. With the queen b2, probably even castling queen's head. So this is an idea, at least. At least it's an idea. But yeah, GreKo played with bishop d2 back, attacking the queen, which is interesting and an alternative. But I think, yeah, c3 is of course the move, and now rook b2. I don't see another option to gain something. But okay, this materialistic play of GreKo, capture b7, just to be up a pawn. The horizon effect of this engine hasn't factored in that after takes, knight takes, queen b4, it will lose the extra pawn. After rook b1 and c5, capturing d takes and rook there. Another move, rook b3 was played, rook there and c4. Rook b takes and c3. This is the current board position. Yeah, but rook b2 just currently 2, 4, 6, 7 versus 2, 4, 5. But those pawns will all disappear, those diced pawns. So yeah, pawn structure is very important, as you see there. And then black will be the one with the extra passed a pawn. So yeah, very hard to defend now for white. You could save the a pawn, but you lose the c pawn. The other c pawn. Probably king takes after the knight takes. D takes, king takes, yeah. So probably we see that. c4, I'm not sure. King takes rook h. Rook h3 is also defending the a pawn. So not c4, rook h3. Also freeing the knight. So now the knight can move. Because otherwise there is always this check. Another pawn here is defended. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus 2, 4, 3, 5. So, but now how is black gonna win the pawn here? It's interesting. Why is Stockfish giving this as much better for black? The kings both are probably very active. Yeah, well, probably black's king is a little bit more active. Black's knight is a little bit more active. Black's rook is a little bit more active, and the structure is also better. So that's probably why the position for black, all in all, is just a little bit better. But yeah, let's see how Stockfish is managing how Stockfish is grinding this out to a win. But okay, we will see. Probably here in that position. Not sure, the knight can't move, the king. Also problematic if king here, the knight there, going after the pinned piece. But rook here, check. King there. Now what? Now what? Knight takes, rook takes, there is the threat. And this can't be avoided, so... yeah, probably this is not the best move. King e7. King e2. There must be something else in that position. But how is white continuing the game? How is white continuing the game? Cannot activate the king that easily. Probably giving that check first. Rook here. Now maybe knight f3. Rook here check doesn't do so much. Let's try knight here, going after that pawn. How is white actually defending that pawn now? So this is also not, knight f3 is not possible. But you have to do something with that knight. Where are the moves here for white? King here? It's not sure. Also that pawn is now hanging. G4 is not on. Wow. So rook here check is not the best cause of action. First taking that pawn. Okay, but now king takes at some point. a7 to a6 is what Stockfish is planning to do. a7 to a6. Stockfish didn't even take the pawn. Stockfish took that pawn first. Attacking a3 and now this. Okay, I shortly thought that it would transpose, but a6 is the move. Stockfish development version from last year, May the 1st. Is giving a6 as a move. Is there any stopping of... okay, now I would go rook here, so now you can't take this. But you could probably take it with the knight and go to e5. Or you hide the king. This is also possible. But probably knight here. But now the knight can use this a4 square. Knight here attacking the rook. But rook here attacks the pawn here. But then rook takes that defending. Now this one, because you don't want to lose this pawn. Now knight here attacking the rook. Rook here attacking the knight. Check. King here. Interesting. But after all that, white would be up a pawn, if I see it correctly. So white is still after a3, rook there. Knight takes, knight's equal on pawn. Knight here, knight there, rook there. Capturing there, so rook here doesn't work. Rook has to keep defending the pawn. Knight d6, defending that pawn. No, the rook is under attack and the pawn, so the rook has to go there. Now what? Knight here, going after that one. f5 I will go, kicking this knight first before going here, going after that pawn. So white has to think about, has to think how you want to save this. So knight here attacking that pawn. The a pawn is probably pretty important, so not sure. So is the f pawn maybe. a4, knight here, a5. Knight here, knight there. a6 I don't really understand. Knight takes d7 and rook g3. Knight takes d7 and rook b3. There are differences, but anyway, knight here attacking the pawn. Okay, you can throw in the check. I would still go there, and after this go there, and then go there, attacking the pawn, and now you exchange pawns just for fun. Knight here, knight there, attacking the rook. Rook has the rook here. Knight there, going after that one, also blocking this check. Rook goes back, 4 versus 4. Rook takes g3. Black is up a pawn here. It's very hard, this position. Okay, I see why it's better for black, but knight takes d7, that's the bold position. Let's see what Stockfish comes up with. I was suggesting that move, but there are also other moves in that position, so as rook b3 here, or rook g3. Stockfish gives... Yeah, I think Stockfish gave rook g3, but here we have rook b3, another move f5. So now I see the point of a6, so that rook b7 doesn't come with an attack on the pawn. So there is time for f5, denying white's knight from the use of that square. Let's say rook here. No, that this loses the pawn. So knight here also possible at some point, but you have to keep an eye on that pawn first of all. Rook b7. a6, a5 is now the move instead of f5. 6, a5, trying to go f4, kick the rook away. But now after this... Okay, the problem is this pawn is hanging. So after that you'd have to defend the pawn with the knight, and then rook here pinning the knight. Okay, you can unpin with that move, but okay, this a5 pawn, it's not threatened because you cannot move the knight now. So king d6, slowly improving. Yeah, and you denied the rook from the use of that square, so the king has to kick away the rook. But first of all you can go knight here. After that check you can go there, attacking the knight. Yeah, the problem is now the king has to go back, and black has this, so rook here most probably, rook there, and rook here, king here, so there is no check now. Okay, knight here attacking the rook, knight there defending, but the problem is just this, rook takes, okay, rook takes, king takes, rook here, king there, and now it's lost for black. So okay, it's not so easy. Rook b3, okay, king activity is important. King d6, king c4, knight here, rook there, check. Yeah, this removes the defender, so if you take immediately, then white is just up a knight. So, okay, you... Okay, rook b4. Rook g3 now. Don't understand this. Why not rook b4? Rook g3, okay. So we had f5. Knight takes. Rook b3. f5 and now rook g3. But now king f6 just, right? Yeah, king f6 is a move defending the pawn. But now rook there, check. Okay, you can go to f7. Knight e4 is coming, attacking the rook. Knight f3. The problem is also this pawn is hanging, and you cannot use the c4 square to defend it. And if you go there to defend it that way, then this is just winning the knight. So, yeah, the a pawn is pretty, I don't know. Yeah, we have exactly this line. Rook b3, f5, rook there, this and there. Yeah, but now the rook has to go back to g3. Okay, but the king is not coming to f6, e5. So at least you gained that one. But just knight not e5. Knight e5 just attacking this one. Yeah, if a silly move. Yeah, well, there has to be a silly move. I'm not sure what to do. Probably f4 to stop f4 from white, because the threat was f4, rook f3, rook takes knight, king takes knight, and knight takes c4. Fork. What the hell am I talking? This is not a fork. No, it's not. So, yeah, but f4 still. Oh, we have a different move. Attacking the c pawn is not so, because of f4 probably. So knight c4. Knight c4, king there, e5. There is always now this tactic in the position. Rook takes knight, king takes knight, and knight e5 check, winning the rook back. Also dicing this structure here. So e5, what's... Yeah, black has not... White hasn't got any moves. Also this knight can come to e6 and then d5 now. Okay, now at least this threat or this possibility of rook takes knight, king takes knight, and knight e4 check is not on anymore. King f6 now, slowly but surely improving. Yeah, just compare these positions: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pawns. Rook each, knight each, king each, of course. But okay. The king is much more active, the knight is more active, the rook is more active, and the pawn structure is better, so this position should be grindable to a win. Yeah, Stockfish gives this as probably even winning for black, and GreKo also thinks that this is not great for him. So, yeah, but very instructive endgame play here by Stockfish. But this knight takes b7 was probably not so great. Now rook g3. There is just nothing to do for white. White has to see and wait. Is this e5, e6? Yeah. Yeah, this check. King goes back to f7. The knight is defending a6. So, yeah, rook g6 check now, probably. G6 now, king e5, leaving that pawn. King e5, just giving away that pawn. Knight here attacking the rook. Rook there attacking the pawn. Knight here threatening mate. Well, not mate, but winning the knight. So king here most probably, because king here doesn't do anything. So king here, you have to... yeah, well, if you give this check now, then the king can probably escape. But after this check, king goes back. Pawn there. Takes. Now the knight has to move. Knight here. Check. Knight takes. Pawn takes. Rook takes. I managed to lose this with black now. Yeah, you cannot sacrifice everything. But why not this check? Yeah, well, anyway. F5. Rook here. Knight there. Blocking the defense of this pawn. This one here. So knight b3 is probably the only option. Knight b1. Knight b1 or desperation. F5. F3. F3, okay, giving back that pawn. If takes and takes, knight takes, attacking the knight. But that's not so great. Okay, if takes. Rook takes knight. I just thought that, okay, probably taking here and probably this is on. Takes, now you have to go behind the pawn. There is no other way of saving the pawn. Yeah, probably you could save it also with the knight, but now queening, because you have this check which wins the rook. So this is on. This is on for Stockfish, I think. The other option is to block this with the knight, but the problem is still you queen and now knight takes, and now you have this check, and wherever the king goes, this knight is hanging. And I have 4 versus 3 in a rook endgame. This pawn is weak, this pawn is weak, and this pawn is also weak. But okay, you can go behind the pawn. Is there time for going after that one? Probably not. Okay, pushing. And now you go there. Okay, this rook is unable to move. This pawn will fall. And now then you have 3 connected passes. So this is quite strong. Okay, but we have this check first. But I think this is also winning. Giving up the knight that way. But check here. Where's the king going? King c2 doesn't matter. Because, yeah, the rook is defending the queening square. It really doesn't matter with what you take this knight, the rook or king. The problem is still that move comes, and now, yeah, you have to stop it. Knight here, queening, takes. Same endgame. But okay, king, we don't have this. There are tactical opportunities to win this game probably, but okay, the easier way is just this check and then capturing here. Yeah, this also comes with a threat. Knight c7, knight b5 now is a threat check, winning the rook. So what's the thing here? King b1, going out of that threat. White has no check. Capturing there is not so great. But just king activity. And now 4 pawns versus 5 pawns. Yeah, it's completely busted now for white. I think this is over. Let's just see one more time both evaluations. Yeah, it's busted. Both engines are thinking it's better for black. So yeah, let's see. King b1. Rook there. Now the knight is unable to move. The king is also denied of moving. Rook here, check. Is a big threat actually, because if you move anything, then rook here, check, you can't go there. And after king here, there you lose the knight. So this is the threat after this rook move. So yeah, but this doesn't help. Just rook c1 check. King has to go there. Rook there, check. King anywhere, doesn't matter. Probably king activity. And now you capture here, defending the knight. And after this, you can defend the knight with taking back. But this loses a rook. So okay, it's not so easy to win the knight there. Check, check, king here. But you can escape. No, you can't. Because the rook is under threat. Rook here, king there. You cannot keep the extra piece. So rook takes, king takes, rook takes, rook takes. Still, black is up a pawn in nearly all variations, so yeah, we have this king b3 now. Rook takes d2 and king c3 will be the move. Probably king c3. So we're in exactly in that variation. King c3 now will be the move. Ah, knight e5. That's a great move. Now you have to take the rook. There is no other option. Takes, 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 takes. Yeah. Yeah, okay, it's done. King and pawn anking up a pawn, and it's an outside passer. It's busted. It's completely over. Yeah, I mentioned it before that there are so much tactical opportunities here for black, and one of them was used now. Knight takes, and the outside a pawn will win the game now. So yeah, interesting finish now to this. Check. Taking the rook, taking the pawn, and it's over. This is now lost because you can just push the pawn. The king has to stop it, and now you just eliminate one pawn, eliminate the other pawn, and yeah, with two connected passes, the king so far away, it doesn't bear mentioning it. It's just completely lost. For white, of course. Yeah, very interesting. Rook there, rook takes c3, and knight takes e3, f takes e4, king takes e4. After king takes e4, I will resign this game. So this will be the moves. Very interesting game here. GreKo put up a good resistance. Knight takes, yeah, minus 67. It's, yeah, completely busted, as I said before. So yeah, this knight e5 was very good. It's very good. How was the 54 minutes? Okay, king takes, e takes, continue or resign. The king takes knight. Come on, take the knight now. Why calculating this so long? Taking the knight is just so obvious. And now f takes e4, king takes e4, and it's over. Anyway, party Abschätzen 01. So yeah, what to learn from this game? Yeah, how not to play the Caro-Kann. Let's ask Stockfish a couple of questions on this game. Very interesting game, I have to say that. So let's load Stockfish, the development version. First of all, I want to see the live book. So e4, c6. Queen a4 check, is this the main move? Queen a4 check, now bishop d2 back. c3 was not so great. Let's now knight e4. Wait, what? Knight e4, c3 now, okay. Knight f6, knight d6 check and going after the d pawn. Takes, knight takes, and queen b4. Queen a3 was never tried before, 2 times. But yeah, queen b3 before was played. Queen a3, queen takes a3, queen takes a3, rook there, and now we have a completely new game. Rook a b8, rook a b1, and now rook c8. c5 immediately. Yeah, this is a new move and it's probably good. So let's ask Stockfish. c5 or rook c8. c5 immediately is better. So c5 takes, rook here, rook b3. Rook b3, yeah, it's still playable. c4 is not playable anymore. Stockfish gives the line rook h4. And after takes, 3. g4. Okay, yeah, this is much more active now for white than the game continuation with c4. Takes, rook takes c3, rook there, takes, rook takes there, rook h3, a6, rook there, knight takes, rook there, f5, rook there, king there, knight c4, yeah, e5. Very interesting stuff here. f3, now this check comes. Yeah, the threat is knight b4 check, so the king has to move, and not this. Takes, and this whole sequence, knight e5 is just so good. Knight e5 is probably the only winning. No, it's not. So knight b2 is... Yeah, knight b2 is the same idea. It's basically the same, but knight b2 or knight e5 are the only winning options, right? Yeah, probably. Rook takes g2. Probably also winning, but not that great. This knight e5 just ends it immediately. Because this pawn ending, king and pawn end game is just lost. So, okay, what I have to ask is, here in that position, instead of this, what if you play c3 immediately? Yeah, it's playable. I thought of that. Knight f6, knight e4, knight takes there. Oh, because the queen is also covering that square. So why knight e4 leaving that pawn? a4 looks more interesting. a4, knight d5, bishop here, knight takes bishop, bishop here, knight e4, queen d2, knight there, queen c2, knight there. Yeah, still playable for both sides. But bishop d2, bishop here. What about c3 now? c3, bishop e7, c5, c4, queen d8. Queen d8 was a little bit fast. Queen b6 is probably more better. And just castles. Okay, you cannot really take that because rook b1 and taking there. So just knight f6 and 2, 4, 6, 7 versus 7 pawns. It should be even, playable for both sides. So that's why, because queen a4 check, that's why bishop d2 is also a main move there in that position. So once more time I have to look at the queen a4, knight f6, but queen a4 is really the best. Okay, thanks for watching and see you next time. Ciao.